Welcome, everyone. I'm Lydia Adams, conductor of the Elmer Iseler Singers, and I want to wish every one of you a wonderful, happy Canada Day 2020. We would like to acknowledge that we are on the traditional territory of many nations in this country, and we are grateful to have the opportunity to work, to live, and to meet in this territory. To celebrate Canada Day 2020, we would like to send you a musical and video presentation of the Song for Canada by Paul Halley. And I'm thrilled that we have as a special guest, the composer Paul Halley, with me today to say a few words about this inspiring piece. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you so much, Lydia. I'm honored that you're using this piece with the singers for Canada Day. Thank you so much.
Well, Paul, we have performed Song for Canada all across the country, right from the East Coast to the West Coast. And then we've been up in Northwest Territories and the Yukon. And everywhere we go, it's just received so marvelously. People are so excited to sing it and to hear it. And choirs across the country have just sung it with us as we go as well. And it's just been a marvelous inspiration to us and to so many people across the country. Can you tell me a little bit about the origins of the piece?
Yeah, it was actually commissioned for Barbara Clark and the Ottawa Choral Society in 1989, so a while back. And I think it was later orchestrated by Howard Cable, I think, for the NAC orchestra at the time. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's correct. And you know, it was written, of course, for the Canada Day celebration on Parliament Hill that year. And so the idea was to use the RCMP military band as well as the Ottawa Choral Society and Barbara's Ottawa Central Choir, children's choir.
Well, it's absolutely marvelous. I can't imagine it because it was one of those big concerts, wasn't it, on Parliament Hill?
Yeah.
Like right on Parliament Hill, the main concert. And
Yeah.
I think this massive choir because the Choral Society sang it. And then Barbara's children.
Yep.
That's what's so marvelous. I mean, I think she was saying when I was talking with her the other day, what an amazing, exciting presentation it was. And I think Brian Law was the conductor, right, for these big choruses. That's
right. That's right.
It must have been, well, it must have been fantastic.
Yeah, sadly I wasn't there. I wish I had been, but I heard great things about it.
Now, I think Paul, you wrote the text for this. Where did the inspiration? How were you inspired for the text?
Well, I wrote the first and last verses, the two English verses. I mean, the two verses originally in English, and then they asked this fellow Bollaert, Anton Bollaert, to write a second verse in French, and then that was translated for programmatic reasons into English. So that's how we got the two languages together. I think the inspiration for it came from the fact that I hadn't lived in Canada at that point for almost 20 years, because I'd gone to school in England, to a university in England, and then I went to Jamaica, and then finally New York City. And so I think a lot of it was just the memories of you know, my growing up in Ottawa with wilderness canoe trips and bike trips and driving across the country from Victoria, BC to St. John's, Newfoundland. You know, just a sense of the extraordinary wealth of natural beauty, amongst other things, you know, that I just remember so much about Canada. So I think it was a lot of really happy memories that drove that text.
Wow, I mean, it really gets inside you, doesn't it? The
Good.
whole landscape of the country.
Yeah.
And so many things about the piece are so uplifting to me. I mean, not only that you've combined the two official languages of the country, but I mean, Barbara was talking the other day, and it always gets the hair on the back of my neck going up when you start the descant, and the descant just rises out of the piece, and the descant is "Oh Canada."
Yeah.
It's so exciting when that happens.
Yeah.
I just love it.
Well, I knew in writing it that I was writing for both Barbara and Brian in particular, and they both, aside from their love of all the classical music and choral music, they also were great lovers of jazz and pop music. And so I thought, well, it's probably going to be okay to write a tune that has a kind of gospel swing to it,
Yeah.
that might be more appealing and accessible to, to more people. And I knew they'd appreciate that. And then, of course, adding the "O Canada" as descant, they'd appreciate that too.
It's spine tingling. And the sopranos, and I guess in the first performance, the children really sing that out. They just love that line.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Well, as we celebrate Canada in 2020, Paul, what are your hopes and dreams? I mean, the piece talks about, Song for Canada talks about hopes and dreams for the country. And it finishes by saying, Canada, your time has come.
Mm-hmm.
What are your hopes and dreams for Canada as we go forward now into the future?
Well, my hopes and dreams are based on experience and I think reality, what we're seeing today, which is if ever there was a time for the global community to come together, not just with the current pandemic, but climate change and issues of social justice and so on. I mean, this is it. This is not the moment in history for rugged individualism. I think this is the moment for a collective, cooperative action. And I think Canada has a tradition that it is clearly continuing of working together with international agencies and other countries in a very compassionate way to make some progress towards these goals and addressing things like climate change. So my hopes and dreams are, I mean, I shouldn't be too patriotic, but I think they're being realized as I speak.
I think they are. There's great change coming. I think a much needed change in our country.
Yeah.
And it will be a much more positive future, I think, as we go.
I think so.
Thank you so much to Paul Halley, our special guest today. It's been so wonderful speaking with you. And I think you're down in Nova Scotia, which I really envy. I know
here I am in Nova Scotia, surrounded by whales and bald eagles and loons and whispering pines and lots of mackerel.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. I've got lots of stories about mackerel fishing, I have to tell you, with my mother.
I'll bet you do.
Well, thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you,
now,
Lydia.
to our supporters and friends, our musical gift to you, the Song for Canada by Paul Halley with the Elmer Iseler Singers and Sean Grenke on piano. Happy Canada Day to you all.